Get where I can see it. Okay, so anyway, I'm going to get started. Got to pull the oil filter. Oil is already drained, if I remember right. And we're going to do the cam tensioner adjuster. Get my little pile of stuff here. Cam tensioner adjuster and the starter motor. And I'm going to pull this case off. And then we're going to put in that neutral safety switch. The one where it's safety wired in. I'm going to go ahead and put some blue Loctite on it while I got it apart. Oh, that one wasn't very tight. Okay. And that's why it's good to go over all this stuff. And one of the things I was curious on is if this O-ring was sealing. Because this thing had a bad oil leak. So I'm not really sure. It kind of doesn't look like it, but I have new O-rings. And that's why you always want to put them in here. Okay. So we got these guys. I'm just going to keep all these together. If I sit them just like this, I'm in good shape. And we'll put a new oil filter in it. There's the O-ring. I'll save that one for comparison, but I have new ones. All right. So then that's garbage. And that goes right there. Okay, perfect. So we have that. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was sealing or not, but like I said, at least that way when I put her together, I know everything will be sealing. All right, and I was kind of watching the Aussie videos, Venture Oz, I believe it is. Those guys are my heroes. All right, they're at least a lot of fun to watch. A lot of good tips. So we're gonna bust this guy loose. This isn't, and I did get new crush washers for this because I watched their video beforehand. So I did get new crush washers for this connector here. And then there was here, this has to come off, and I got a new O-ring. I believe that's what sits behind there. But yeah, it kind of helps to watch the videos beforehand, order the parts. I know they reuse the parts, but you know, for as cheap as these things were, I just ordered new ones. You know, so anyway, so this guy goes here. So we're gonna loosen this guy. There we go. So I got this guy. Yeah, and I got new ones for this one too. And these ones up here are copper. I don't know if it's because so the copper guys go here. The smaller one with the steel washers go here. I don't know if they use copper for the temperature difference, but anyway, that's the way they go. Copper goes there. All right. So anyway, I'm going to put those in there. And so now we can move this out of the way. Perfect. That was one of the things they said. And then I got to get in here with a 8mm. I'll do this clutch mount, clutch cable mount. There we go. Let's undo this. I can't get to this here, but if I undo that, I should be able to pick it up a little bit. So we'll undo this guy all the way. Because you know you have to, if you're doing this, I mean if you're doing the starter motor, you have to remove the cam tensioner. So I figured might as well just do everything on this side, have the starter done, and the safety switch, and I'll never have to worry about this, I hope. So, shouldn't. So. Go. And I kind of lucked out on the neutral safety thing. A guy on Craigslist had one. So, here locally, not too far away, so. Here we go. And so this screw is for the one closest to the motor. And we're going to put that right down there. And now I should be able to move this bracket up a little, I hope. Maybe not. Okay. I'll do it this way. There we go. Now we can move that guy up. So anyway, my goal today is to get the motor done. And then maybe tomorrow do the shock, or maybe just next week do the shock. It's still hot here in Phoenix, where I live, but like today, early in the morning, it was overcast. It was pretty nice. So I'm thinking take the XR out up to Prescott. There's a place called Zeke's up there. They're open tomorrow. They're closed today, open tomorrow. So anyway, I was thinking about riding the XR. I haven't been on the bike in 6 weeks at least. You know, my daughter was out and I didn't ride any then. So, excellent. Let's put that right there. Okay, so this thing will lift out then. I got this guy done. Oh, I got to pull that guy. Okay. It's all coming back to me. You watch the videos at night and you have to kind of figure it out in the morning. All right, so that's, let me just get my Allen wrenches for that. And maybe a 4.5. Maybe a 5. Okay. Get this guy. There we go. Okay. And before I pull that off, I want to undo this cover on the end. 10. I want to undo this because it's bolted to the motor. And behind this sits a screw that you can undo, or that you're supposed to be able to turn it outward, and that retracts the plunger and the cam gear. And let me see, let's get this guy. And I'm just holding some pressure against it while I undo it. There we go. Oh yeah, okay. I don't know if you guys can see it. No wonder I had an oil leak. There's actually a big piece missing. There's 2. Let me try and get my head in there. But yeah, it's, where's my flashlight? No wonder I had the oil leak. So yeah, okay, now you can see it. It looks like it was never really put on correctly. I'll try and get down there. But yeah, you have one gap here. It goes black where the gasket is, and one gap here, and this one here, it's like the gasket had raised up. And even right here, it's kind of shredded, and I have 0 gasket material on it, so I guess the gasket material went outward. That's what I'm thinking. So, cool beans. Now I'm even more positive that was my oil leak. So, like I said, it's, I don't know how good I can get in here so you guys can see. Yeah. But there we go. Right there. So, anyway, so that's my leak. Cool. Okay, actually I'm kind of back with you, although I'm not getting a reading. But I was just going to kind of dive that in there. Maybe you can see, maybe you can't. There you go, maybe since it's up close. That's what we're dealing with. I'll take a still shot. There we go. So it's kind of going, maybe, sort of. All right, so anyway, that's my leak right there. So with this out of the way, I can pull this out. There we go. Yeah, and this bike has less than 1,000 miles, so I'm not expecting it to be too horrible. You have a nice O-ring here. And what we're going to do is we're going to wipe this guy off. I'm not going to turn anything. Now wipe it down a little bit. I'm not going to get anal on it. All right. And then we're going to undo this. Undo this guy. Sit those guys there. And then I assume we just pull this guy off. Slowly, I guess. All right. So this is one of the places where we want to put grease. We have an O-ring here that we're going to wipe down. We're going to put grease on. This has a little divot, and so does my oil pan. I'm going to sit that right there. Okay, yeah, that's the belly of the beast there. We've got some rocks in here. I'm going to go ahead and clean this, wipe this down. I don't know if you can see it, but I have a, this camera's always slipping, but yeah, there's kind of like a combo oil grease right there. And look, the drain hole is actually that way. So while it's sitting on this kickstand, there's no place for this fluid to go. Yeah, I mean, it would have to be pretty full to bleed that extra oil and moisture out of there. So, yeah, the hole should have been somewhere else, but anyway. Huh, okay. Well, it is what it is. Okay, we'll just clean this guy. A little oil in there. Ball around there. Because that's where the O-ring is going to sit when I put it back together. Okay. Cool beans. Just going to kind of spray in there, degrease a little bit. Use my rag. Yeah, see, it just sits there. Okay. Excellent. And let's wipe this guy out. Let's wipe the seal. Yeah, there's nothing in there. Well, you can hold it up here, but get my light again. Yeah, Suzuki doesn't. Here you go. I think there's actually more oil on that than grease. I'll wipe all this out good. And this is the end that goes up against the cases. Okay. All right. Yeah, it'll be nice just to have this done. I saw Warp 9 has a billet cap with a sealed bearing, which is cool, but I think those will be good enough. Put my finger there. Let's just put it right in there. Yeah, my 06, it had a little bit of a squeal. It wasn't bad enough to where I needed to do this, or maybe it was, but anyway. This guy here we got. Had I not been doing the gasket right there, I wouldn't have done this one either, but I had to replace that gasket. Sucked to have a brand new bike for me, and spraying oil, I couldn't even ride the thing. All right, so we got that guy. So I got this guy all greased. I'm going to sit that right on my foot peg. Cool. And then starter. Okay, we're going to wipe this down a little bit. Pull the O-ring off. I'm just going to go around it. Just wipe it down a little. Excellent. And then this guy. Go right around here. Perfect. All right. And let's clean the shaft off a little bit. Perfect. All right. So we got one end of it done. A little afraid. All right. Do something stupid. Not that I ever would. Ooh, now look at this side. I'm going to hold this up. This is... don't know if you guys can see, but yeah, there's actually little crusties forming in there. See, kind of piled down in here. So, and this is with 1,000 miles on it. So, yeah, okay. Cover this guy back up. Spray this guy out. And that's just a bushing. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. Yeah, not cool, man. Not cool. I'm glad to pull it apart. Not cool. We're going to pull that guy off. I'll wipe all this out. And I'm just using brake parts cleaner. I'm going to wipe this guy out. That's my rag. Then we'll repack all this. I'm going to wipe all around here. I'm just going to wipe this guy. Spray it and then wipe it. Okay. Yeah, not cool, man. Jeez. Okay. All right. So this guy's good. And it's going to go in there. All right. And then I'm going to hold this. And I'm just going to wipe around it. I'm going to get crazy with it. That's usually when I get into trouble, is when I'll do like an extreme job. And then I get myself in an extreme mess. Okay. So this looks good. I don't know why I had those crusties on it. Don't know where they came from, but yeah, it starts fine. All right. So I'm going to put this back down. I'm going to sit this back on it. And I think we are done. Yeah, looks the same on both sides. I'm going to slide this guy back over. Yeah, we'll put this guy back together. Get that adjuster done. All right. So my Aussie boys said to pack this guy. And pack it I will. All right. Pack it extreme, because as soon as I push that shaft in there, it's going to have some overflow. Okay, but I think that's pretty darn good. And then they said to do the O-ring. So while I got grease on my hand, I'm just going to kind of dot right around here. Sounds like my neighbors are getting a new air conditioner or something. And I'm going to just reverse it. I'm just going to kind of dot right around here, get grease on this guy. I'll wipe off the excess when I put her together. All right, so we're good. And the reason for this on their channel, I was watching again last night, was waterproof this O-ring. Okay, so we got this going. And well, I wanted to do something else while I had this thing down. I guess that's about it. Okay. Thought there was something else. Okay. So we're going to look for my marks. Oh, I was going to do the shaft. Okay, I can do that in a little bit. All right. So we're looking for my marks. Where those guys are. There they are. Okay, so I have this mark here, and I have this mark here. So this is going to go just like there. Squish. Okay. Off a little bit. There we go. So that guy goes there. And I'm holding it with my finger. And the other guy, it's amazing how you can lose something like that. It is right there. All right, so this one's all wiped down, clean. Got it oiled. And we'll find our marks on this guy. It's all nicely greased. This really doesn't take long. The longest part is just, then I have a mark. I'm trying to get my helmet cam in there, or my head cam, here and here. So the biggest thing is just getting to it. But like I said, since I'm already fixing something else, and this one's not going down. Help! So. There we go. Just got to use some manpower there. All right. Get this over here. Excellent. So let's get those screws started. All right. Cinch this down. I'll wipe that down. There we go. It's like a grease blob there. It was kind of weird. It had chunks in there. Maybe that was the old grease or something. All right. And then the other thing they said to do, it already has some grease on it from sliding it through that hole I filled with grease, that bearing hole I filled with grease, but we'll put some grease on it. It won't hurt. And I'm going to put a smidge right around here. It sits in the motor. In my 7mm socket. Okay, yeah, this makes it way easier. So yes, you can pull it out and then undo the bolts. Let's see. So, I don't know what I was thinking. Lord only knows. You got to remember these aren't holding the bike together, so don't strip them out. There we go. So we got grease here, grease there, grease there. I'm going to change my gloves. And then I'm going to wipe this down, and then we can install it. I'm going to use my little divot right there. All right, so I'm back. I have my new gasket, my old pocket knife, tactical knife. There we go. And man, I got ripped off. This gasket didn't have any tears in it like the other one does. All right, so that's it. That goes there. So I'm just going to sit that right there. I was looking for somewhere clean as I drop it in there. Okay, so we're back. I got the gasket all cleaned off. The sucker was on there good. You can tell they used some kind of Suzuki Bond or Honda Bond type stuff. I covered up the hole where the starter goes while I was doing that, and I also covered up the oil hole. I'm going to leave that covered for right now. So anyway, all the parts are clean. And so I'm going to get that starter back in there. And I want to spray this off, degrease it kind of. Pardon the noise. I think my neighbors were getting an air conditioner or something. So anyway, just going to wipe the outside so it doesn't really attract a lot of grease. I'll tell you what, we may just spray it off and then wipe it. There's my gasket. That's never good. Okay. Hey. Oh, I got my yellow. Okay, let's spray this guy down. Now we'll wipe it off. I'm not going to touch that grease right there. In fact, let me get another rag. There we go. Yeah, I said I wasn't going to touch that grease. All right, I touched a little bit. All right, so we got this guy going. Oh, looks like it started over again or something. Who knows? Tell you, gotta have a lot of patience for a drift camera. So, all right. So shaft's grease. This is grease. I got grease on this end. I got grease. There's a bearing here. There's a bushing on this end, and I think this is the end you get from Warp 9. I'm just gonna double check these. Yep. And then we got our marks here and here. Excellent. So I'm going to slide this guy in. Who knows what I'm thinking, but anyway. And I went ahead and sprayed off all in here with brake parts cleaner, just because that oil had gotten everywhere in between the fins and stuff. So now it's all kind of degreased. So, and it's going to go to where this thing keeps stopping. There we go. And it's going to go to where your battery post, your battery cable post is up. So we're just going to slide this bad boy in. I haven't touched or moved anything on the bike. I haven't moved the shaft or nothing. All right. So then that just goes like that. It just walked right in there. I had grease around that O-ring. And now these are the only two bolts to hold that thing in. We're going to snug it down first. I'm going to put a little bit of sealer around on this end of the gasket, just because, you know, I scraped it flat as I could, but if there's any imperfections, then that sealer will fill it up. Yeah, it had some kind of Honda Bond stuff that was just hard to get off. I spent quite a bit of time getting that off. So, okay, so we got this. So starter's on good. So I have a cable right here, or the battery starter cable, I should say. And that's going to go here. And then we're going to leave this guy off. We're going to leave the oil line off, just because I'm going to have this up to do the neutral sender switch. Okay, so now we're going to spray this guy off since I dropped it in oil. So. I had it sitting on the packaging, but Murphy's Law slid it off at the last moment. And I'm just going to pat it down like that and hold it. And yeah, starter's on. I know the nut's on that side over there. I heard it drop. And we'll get that. I believe it was a nut in the lock washer. Okay. There we go. So now that sucker's clean again. And it goes on either way. Go on this way or that way. So I'm going to put this high temp ultra black on one side. Sit it up in there. If it squishes some out, that's fine. Just want to make sure I have a good surface. I don't want this thing to leak again. Must have just been not assembled correctly from the factory or something. Okay. And this is just the ultra black high temp oil resistant silicone gasket maker. So anyway, I have this all cleaned up. I just sprayed it down with brake parts cleaner, wiped it down, and then I have never done this myself, but there's supposed to be a screw behind here. Okay, I'm going to set that there. There's supposed to be a screw behind here that you can turn, and it will retract this plunger. All right, so let's see. Well, there it goes. Okay, so let's just pull that out, set that down. Okay. So it is retracting this. I don't think it's going to hold it, is it? Okay, it is going to hold it. All right, so we got that. I got my screws. All right, so it is going to hold that. So See, it has retracted that. There's just a flat blade screw right there. And I'll put a little bit of stuff right here, just around on the outside. Just don't want no more leaks. Yeah, that was actually kind of a good sized leak on this. Hey, you know, the guy didn't tell me when he sold it to me, so oh well. Okay, so just gonna wipe this around here. Like I said, I'm just gonna let this sit 24 hours. There we go. And there we go. All right, I'm gonna wipe this off. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be riding it or anything. Hope I'll have this guy done tonight, and then I'll fill it with oil, but I'm not gonna start it or anything. So what I've done is I have a little bit of a gasket sealer holding this brand new gasket in with no tears like the other one. Then I have a nice bead, nice smooth right around there. So I'm gonna slide this guy in. And make sure my fingers are clean. Put a new glove on there. And just start tightening this guy down. And Allen's there. I believe it was the 5. Yes. Okay, so now that it's in there, I can release that. I should actually be able to feel that thing release. There we go. Yep, there's no doubt it's released. All right, so that's good. Then I have some extra. Yeah, no doubt that thing is released. And my extra silicone here, I'm just going to wipe it off. I'm going to use the rag to wipe it down. There we go. There we go. Okay. Check that one more time and I'm done. Good to go. Good to go. Put that back. And I'm gonna, then we have this special screw that goes right here, and there's kind of a fiber gasket right here. Just gonna put this back on. Maybe. There we go. Okay. All right. These guys away. Okay. So our starter's in. It's all greased. We got the new gasket on here. That's ready to go. And so, like I said, it's going to sit overnight and harden up. I'm going to start on this guy next. So, till my camera shuts off with no battery.